Hi everyone. In today's video, we will learn about AWS WAF and AWS Shield. So, in this class, we will learn what is AWS WAF and what is AWS Shield. So, what are the difference and comparison between those two, and why we need this, and how it works, and what are the benefits and limitations. So, let's see one by one. So, let's move to the agenda and see. So in this video, we will learn what is AWS WAF and why we need this, and what are the key features and advantages, how it works. So, and also learn what is AWS Shield, why we need, key features, advantages, and AWS Shield works. And finally, we will also see the comparison between those two. So let's see one by one. What is AWS WAF? So WAF means it's called as Web Application Firewall. It's fully managed services by the AWS. It also protects your web application from the bad traffic or any malicious threats like that. So basically, the WAF is a firewall. It provides web application firewall. It's one of the fully managed services. It protects all over the web application, like any bad traffic or any malicious threats or any threats occur, so like that. So it protects your web application, and also it allows you to create the rules to filter or block the malicious traffic based on the specific patterns, IP addresses, geographic location, or rate of requests. Like it also helps to avoid any bad traffic or malicious threat. It allows us to creating the rules to filter. So like that, in the any applications, it provide the filter, like what are your things need and how to filter. So like that, it allows you to create the rules for the filter. So when we are applying the filter, it track, so any other traffics or any other links it acquired, so it block the all those malicious traffic based on the filter, like specific patterns or IP addresses or any locations or rate of requests like that. So it automatically blocks those malicious threats or bad traffics. And it integrates with many AWS services, including Amazon CloudFront, Application Load Balancer, API Gateway, and AWS App Runner. So AWS WF, so Web Application Firewalls, it also integrated with other AWS services. They are including like CloudFront or Load Balancer or API Gateway, AWS App Runner, like that. So it integrated with those services. So this is all about what is AWS WAF, like a web application firewall. So it protects the web application from the bad traffic and the malicious threats. So let's move why we need this. So why we use, or why we need AWS web application firewall means, so we need because to safeguard the web application from various security threats and vulnerabilities that could compromise their functionality, data, or user trust. So why means protect the web application from the various security threats, like nowadays many hacking are acquired, so it hack their applications and changes any application requirements or anything. It could be affect our applications, web application, right? So why when we using the WAF, it protect our various security threats and vulnerabilities. So in that case, we do not ready to compromise their functionality, data, or user trust. So that's why we are using the web application firewall. And also modern applications are often exposed to attack like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, DDoS, which can lead to data breaches, downtime, or unauthorized access. So like many attacks like SQL injection or any cross-site scripting and also DDoS, it can lead us the data breaches, downtime, or any unauthorized access can be accessed our applications, right? So that's why we are using the AWS. In that time, it can avoid those things, can attack and exposes the our applications, or it can expose our data breach or downtime or any unauthorized access. And also it acts as a protective shield, filtering and blocking the malicious traffic based on the customizable rules. So in the definition, I've already told that, right? It allows to filter those filtering the rules. It can easily block those malicious threats according to our rules, right? So it acts as a protective shields and filtering and blocking the malicious traffic. So based on the customizable rules, and it enhances the application security by allowing you to control the access based on IP addresses, request rates, or geographic locations. It also enhances the security by allowing you to, based on the IP addresses, request rates, or any geographical location, you can provide those and you can easily enhance the application. So that's why we are using the web application firewall. So it like a protective shield for our applications, and it can provide safeguard for our web application from the security threats, and it can avoid any data breaches or downtime like that. So basically we called as protective shield for the web application. That's why we need the AWS web application firewall. So let's move to the benefits. The benefits of AWS web application firewall are comprehensive security, customizable rules, pre-configured managed rules, scalable, cost-effective, seamless integration with the AWS. These are all the main benefits of the web application firewall. So let's see one by one. The first one is comprehensive security, right? So the AWS web application firewall provides the strong protection against common web threats such as SQL injection and cross-site scripting, it ensuring your application remains secure from these types of attacks. So I've already told that in the previous slide, that is why we need means it attacks like SQL injection or cross-site scripting or DDoS, right? So from those attacks, it also ensures your application remains secure from these types of attacks. So it provides the strong protection against common web threats. So the SQL injection, cross-site scripting, these are all the common web threats that can occur in our web application. So this can all be protection against the comprehensive security provides the strong protection against those common web attacks. The next is customizable rules. So you have the flexibility to create security rules tailored to your specific requirements, it enabling you to filter the traffic based on IP addresses, headers, or other criteria. So customizable rules means we can applying the filters or we can applying those filters. It provides the create security rules. So it provides the specific requirements and enabling you to traffic based on traffic rules like IP addresses, headers, or any other criteria, geographical location like that. So using the customizable rules, we can avoid the attacks also. The next is pre-configured managed rules. AWS offers a collection of pre-built rules that are frequently updated to guard against known vulnerabilities. So you don't need to worry about the manual updates. So AWS, it is a collection of the pre-built rules. In the customizable rules like that, it also provides some pre-built rules. So that are frequently updated to the guard. So it frequently updated. It avoid the vulnerabilities. So you don't need worry about any manual updates. It doesn't require, it automatically updated. So the pre-built rules are frequently updated to the guard against known vulnerabilities. So this is the pre-configured managed rules. So using those pre-configured managed rules, it have some pre-built applications or pre-built rules. It offers its collections of some of the rules that can easily updated without any manual intervention. So the next is scalable. The traffic increases, the AWS web application firewall effortlessly scales to accommodate the higher value, making it an excellent choice for the business of all sizes. So it can effortlessly, so without any manual intervention or any effort, we cannot scales. So without any effortlessly scales to accommodate the higher value, it can excellent choice for the business. So AWS is a excellent choice for businesses to of all the sizes. So primary business or any other businesses, we can using this. So it's a better choice to use using the WAF. The next is cost effective. So with as pay as you go pricing structure, you only pay for what you use, making it a budget friendly option for the businesses at different growth stages. So it's a pay as you go, right? So that's why it's a pricing structure is pay as you go. So you can pay for what you use. It's like it's a budget friendly, so it can be options for businesses or any different growth. We can usually use this protective shield, so it doesn't any effect on the cost. So let's say easily cost free. So that's why we can use those WAF. The next is seamlessly integration with AWS. So it works. It also work with smoothly with other AWS services like CloudFront, Holistic Load Balancer, and API Gateway. It simplifying deployment and enhancing the efficiency. So the WAF can easily integrate it with other AWS services like CloudFront or Elastic Load Balancer and API gateways like that. So it can easily simplifying the deployment and enhancing the efficiency. And also it's a real-time insights and DDoS protection. So DDoS protection means it's collaborated with the AWS Shield to automatically protect against the DDoS attacks. It's adding an extra layer of the security. So when we using the DDoS, so we already told that, right? The common methods like SQL injection and other DDoS like that. So it provide the protect against the DDoS attacks. It provide an extra layer for the security. These are all the benefits of the web application firewall. So let's move to the limitations. So what are the limitations of the AWS WAF? So the main limitations are it's a complex setup. It focuses on the layer 7, AWS specific, and limited flexibility with managed rules and ongoing management, and can get expensive. Let's see one by one. That is complex setup. Setting up the custom rules and navigating the security option can be challenging, particularly for users who aren't familiar with the AWS or web security. So the advantages are why we need that. We are all told that it's a customizable rules, right? So the custom rules setting up and it navigating the security options can be challenging. So because every user have different settings and apply different filters, right? So it can be challenging for navigating the security options, particularly for the every user. So basically it's challenging for who are not familiar with the AWS or web security. So it can be challenging. The next is focus on layer 7. AWS WAF is primarily designed to protect at the application layer. It doesn't offer the deep protection at lower network layers. It may not address all type of network level attacks. So focus on layer 7 means it's primarily designed to protect the application layer, that is the layer 7. So it doesn't apply for any deep protection or lower on the network layer. So it may not addresses all type of network level attacks. Next is AWS specific. So web application firewall is designed primarily for the use with the AWS services, making it less ideal for protecting the infrastructure that is not hosted on the AWS. So it designed only for use with the AWS services, primarily designed for the using the AWS services. It less ideal for protecting the infrastructure. So it doesn't have much idea about that in infrastructure. It only using this less ideas in the infrastructure. So it does not hosted the AWS. That are the one of the limitation. The next is limited flexibility with managed rules. While AWS offered managed rules, you control over time turning them to your specific need to somewhat limited. So like it managed the rules, so you can control over the fine tuning. So when it coming to specific needs and what are the limited, you can know about that. The next is ongoing management. So custom rules require the regular updates to stay effective, which means you continuously attention and effort from your team. So ongoing management means custom can update the rules or it can require any filters, right? So that's why it can require the regular updates to stay effective. Otherwise, it doesn't get any updated, it doesn't any effective. So it can get the regular updates from to stay effective from the custom rules. So which means it continuously attention and effort from the team. The next is can get expensive. So for application with high traffic, the pay as you go pricing model can lead to escalating the cost as your traffic increase. So it's a basically it's a pay as you go. The what are the things you can using, you can only pay for that. So when we are using the application with the high traffic, the pay-as-you-go pricing model can lead to the escalating the cost. So when we are using the high traffic, it escalating the cost to where the traffic increases. So these are all the limitation of the AWS web application firewall. So let's move to the next. That is how the AWS WAF work. So we will know how the web application firewall work. Means the web application firewall can to control our protected resources, respond to the HTTP web app requests, and also defining the web access control list and accessing it one or more web application resources you want to protect. And it can associate the resource forward incoming request to the WAF to inspect by the web ACL. And in the AWS work first with the attach the AWS WAF to your application. So like it start with attaching the web application firewall to your particular your application. So after attaching that, it create the web access control list. So that's like here we can see. So it create the web access, right? So the WAF is a control to protect the resources that is responded from the HTTP web request. It's defining the web access control list. So the web access control list can associate it with one or more web application resources. So first we attach it to the firewall to your application. It protect the resources that is responded to the HTTP web request. So when we are creating the web access control list, so it's associated with one or more application resources that you want to protect. So which one we want to protect our application, it can interact with or it can associate it with those application. So the next is it checks the every request. So the associated resources forward the incoming request to the AWS WAF for the inspection by the web ACL. So when the ACL is associated with more than one web application for the web request, it can forward those requests to the WAF to inspect by the ACL. That can be checked the every request that can provided by the ACL. Then it takes the action. So in the web, it can create the rules to define the traffic patterns to look for in the requests and to specify the action to take on matching the requests like that. So it take action after checking the requests. Then it's real-time monitoring. So it's it working goes on the real-time monitoring, and it can updates against the threats. So it can stay updated against threats. So it can actively update it from the application that what are the threats are going on. So how the things works like that, it can continuously stay updated against the any bad traffic or any other malicious that it can continuously affect. So that's how the web application firewall works. So it also this action chooses including this action also choose the requests like in the web access control list. It can also choose the following requests, that is it allows the request to go to the protect resource from the processing and responding. Like we are told that in the third step, that is WAF checks the every request. The request are it allows the request to go to the protected resources for the processing and responses. First it allows the request from the processing and responses, then block the requests. What are the requests? It allowing it block those requests and count the requests and run those captcha or challenges check against the request to verify human users or the standard browser use. So it can check for the it's a standard user browser or if any other request can verify the human user. It can run those captcha and challenges to check against those requests. So after then it takes the action. Then it can monitoring those requests and stay updated against those bad traffics or any malicious threats. It can be updated. This is about the AWS WAF means web application firewall works. So this is all about the WAF means web application, what are the features and limitations and why we need and what is the definitions and how it works. So let's move to the AWS Shield and learn those things. So let's move to the next slide, that is AWS Shield. That is, what is AWS Shield? So we will learn the AWS Shield is managed the DDoS protection service. We can use the AWS Shield to turn on the always on detection and automatic mitigations and protect against the common DDoS attacks. So we are using the AWS Shield to manage the DDoS protection services. So it can manage the protection against the DDoS. It turn on always on the detection and automatic mitigation. So it is a automatic mitigations and it protect against the DDoS attacks. So WF we can use for SQL injection or any threats that is common threats on the web application. We are using the WAF. The shield can be used to manage the DDoS protection services. It can automatic mitigation and protect against the common DDoS attacks. And it offers two tier of protection. So AWS Shield offers the two tiers protection. So that is a network and transport layers, that are the two tier protection. It can AWS Shield standard, which is automatically enabled for all the AWS customers at no additional cost and protect against common DDoS attacks at the network and transport layer. So we told that it's a two type protection, right? So it says AWS Shield is a standard. So it automatically enables the AWS customer. So it doesn't cost any additional cost or additional cost. It protects against common DDoS attacks. The common DDoS attacks are occurred in network and transport layer. It can against those attacks. And also the AWS Shield Advanced, a paid service that provide the enhanced protection for the more sophisticated and large scale attacks. So in the AWS Shield there is a two-way, one is a standard and another one is the advanced. So that is called as a two tier of protection. In the standard, it automatically enable the AWS customers. So it doesn't we need to pay for any additional cost. It protect against common DDoS attacks in the network and transport layer. So in the AWS Shield Advanced, it's a paid service. So in the AWS Shield Advanced, we need to pay this cost to those services. It provides the enhanced protection for more more any sophisticated or any large scale attacks are required. So we can use the advanced shield. So in these services we need to pay for those advanced shield services. So that is it's a two type protection. So we can commonly use it for the detection and automatic mitigation for the protection against those services. So this is what is the AWS Shield we called as. The next thing is why we need the AWS Shield. So why we need this means it's a service that protects the application running on the Amazon Web Services from the DDoS attack. It can help to reduce the application downtime and latency. So why we need means it protect us. It's a protective shield. It can protect the application running on the web services from the DDoS, means distributed denial of the services attack. It can help to reduce the application downtime and latency. So we are using the shield means it can help to reduce our application downtime or any latency. It can help. And also it protect the application hosted on AWS by offering the real-time protection against these attacks. So it ensuring continuous availability and minimizing the risk of service disruptions. So it helps to protect the application that is hosted by the AWS, and also it offering the real-time protecting against these attacks. So and also it continuously availability and minimizing the risk of the service disruption. So it minimizing the risk of our service disruption. In the advanced also we can pay and we can use the any other of large attacks. We can automatically use the AWS Shield. So that's why we need the AWS Shield, because it's continuously availability and minimizing the risk of the service disruption. The next is benefits. The benefits of the AWS Shield are it's a real-time detection, automatic mitigation, comprehensive reporting, rapid response, and DDoS protection. So let's see one by one. Real-time detection. So AWS Shield detects the threats in real time. So it can also, we can use the real-time, any threats detects, it can easily identify those detects in the threats in the real time. That is, next is automatic mitigation. It automatically mitigates the threats. So it doesn't no need to any manually we can detect or anything. It can automatically mitigate the threats. The next is comprehensive reporting. The AWS Shield provides the comprehensive reporting on the threats. It can provide the any comprehensive reports. The next is rapid responses. AWS Shield advanced customers have access to the AWS Shield response team for the rapid response to threats. So in the definition, I've told that it's a two-tier of layer, that is one is standard and another one is advanced. In the advanced customers, so who are using the AWS Shield Advanced, that customers have the access, that is AWS Shield as a response team. So that is a rapid response from the team, rapid response to the threats. That's why it's one of the main benefit we are using in the AWS Shield, that is rapid response. It only applying for the was the access for the advanced customers. The next is DDoS protection. So AWS Shield it protect against the DDoS attacks. This is the benefits of the AWS Shield. So let's move to the features. So the features of the AWS Shield. So what are the features the Shield provided means? It's a tailored detection based on the application traffic pattern. So it detects the threats based on the application. It is a traffic pattern, and health-based detection, like any health-based issues or anything, it can easily detect. And advanced attack mitigation. So using the AWS Shield Advanced tier, we can usually attack the mitigation. The next is automatic application layer DDoS mitigation. So it only focus on the layer 7, right? It's a application layer, that is automatically application layer mitigation, and it proactive event responses. So it's a proactive, you can easily stayly effective and updated against the threats, so it can proactive in the event response. The next is protection the groups. So we can provide protect against any other threats or malicious effects. So it can protection to the groups, visibility and attack notification. So it can rapid responses, it can easily visibility on the any attacks, and it provide also notification against the attacks. This is the features of the AWS Shield. So the next is how AWS Shield works. So the AWS Shield works on, it mainly manage the DDoS protection services. It's designed to protect the application hosted on the AWS from malicious traffic or any attacks. So it works by providing the real-time monitoring and the automatic detection events. So and also it's offering the mitigation strategies to prevent or reduce the impact on those attacks. And the features or the benefits I have told that, right? So it's a automatic mitigation. So it's a mitigation strategy to prevent or reduce the impact of these attacks. It offers the two services, that is AWS Shield Standard and Advanced. So it works on the two way, that is AWS Shield Standard and the Shield Advanced. So how it works means it's a traffic managed and detection, and then it's automatic mitigation, global protection infrastructure, layered protection, web application firewall integration, DDoS cost protection, and finally it also access to the AWS DDoS response team. So let's see one by one. So how the work goes. So it start with the traffic monitoring and detection. AWS Shield continuously monitoring the incoming traffic to your AWS resources such as Amazon CloudFront or Elastic Load Balancing or Route Amazon Route 3 and AWS Global Accelerator. Like that, it can continuously monitoring the incoming drops, and also it uses the automated detection systems to identify the abnormal traffic patterns, like including volumes based on attacks such as application layer attack like HTTP floats or UDP floats like that. It can continuously detect the automatic detect systems, that is traffic monitoring and detection. The next is automatic mitigation, that is AWS Shield standard automatically detects and mitigates the most common smaller DDoS attacks in the shield. The standard, the advanced, it offers the additional DDoS mitigation measures. It including more sophisticated attacks or any large volume of attacks. It can be easily detected, and custom mitigation techniques along with the 24/7 access to the AWS DDoS response team. So in the automatic machine, it's a standard it's a free service. It can automatically detect and mitigate the most common threats. So when we using the advanced, it's a premium service, like we can pay for that. So it can 24/7 access to the AWS DDoS response team. It is called as automatic detection. The next is global protection infrastructure. AWS Shield leverages the AWS global infrastructure, which includes the services like Amazon CloudFront and AWS Global Auxiliary, and it also allows the services to observe and mitigate the large-scale DDoS attack at the edge of the AWS networks from any other resources, and also it can help ensure the attack targeting your resources are minimizing by spreading the load across a vast global network. So global network infrastructure means it includes the services like CloudFront or any content delivery network or global accelerator infrastructure. It can include those services in the global protection, and also it allows the observer and mitigate the any large scale attacks or any other AWS network resources. It can easily mitigate those attacks and observe those services, and also it also helps to attack the resources from the minimizing by spreading the load across the vast global network. The next is layered protection. The layered protection also in the two ways. One is the AWS Shield standard and the advanced. In the Shield, it provides the basic protection against those most common attacks. So in the advanced, it offers the additional capabilities like enhanced detection and mitigation, real-time attack visibility, cost protection that can also all occur in the advanced, that is layered protection. The next is WAF, the Web Application Firewall Integration. So the Shield Advanced can integrate with the AWS WAF to further protect against the application layer. So the Shield can also integrate it with the AWS Shield Advanced layer. So that it can easily to protect against the application layer attack by defining the rules that filter and any block malicious HTTP and HTTPS request targeting or any other application. It can easily, the Shield can integrate it with the application firewall to protect the against the application layer. The next is DDoS cost protection. The AWS Shield Advanced offer a feature called DDoS cost protection, which ensures you are not charged for the extra resources used during the DDoS attack. So this is available for the customers on the AWS Shield Advanced. So like DDoS cost protection means in the AWS Shield standard is a free of cost, but in the AWS cost Shield Advanced it's a premium. So it gives the offer for the feature that is called DDoS cost protection. So who are the people using the AWS Shield Advanced? They are not issues or they are not any extra charge for the resources that are they are using the DDoS attacks. So such as scaling the resources, it's only available for the AWS Shield Advanced. So who are using the AWS Shield Advanced, they are not pay for any extra charges for the resources that is DDoS attack. So they can easily it is available for those customers. The next is access to the AWS DDoS response team. For AWS Shield Advanced Customer, AWS provides the access to the DDoS response team. So the advanced customer who are using the advanced feature, it provides the access to the DDoS response team, like rapid responses. So it's a specialized team of experts who can assist with the mitigation of large or any complex attacks. So the DDoS response team is one of the specialized team. It contains the experts who can easily assist the mitigation of any large threats or any large volumes can occur or any complex threat. It can interact with response to the team. So the response team offers support to help you fine-tune your defenses and respond effectively to an attack. So the DDoS response team support and help you to find the defenses and any respond effectively to an attack. So we can easily respond to those attacks. We can easily provide response to the any threats that can be occurred by the specialized team to the experts. So it only provides for the AWS Shield advanced customers. So the advanced customers can easily respond to those attacks. This the how AWS Shield works. Like it works on the two way. That is one of the standard way, and the another one is the advanced. In the standard way, it can only provide to the free of cost, and also it's avoid any common threats. But when we are using the AWS Shield Advanced, it provide rapid responses, and also it integrated with the AWF, and also it provides the DDoS cost protection, so can easily respond to those attacks. The shield works on the two ways. So this is how AWS Shield works. Let's move to the next, that is comparison. So we can see what are the comparison of the like AWS WAF Web Application Firewall and Shield. So we know that is a Web Application Firewall. Also we can use it to provides protection against the web attacks such as SQL injection or cross-site scripting, like, right? So it also, the shield also helps to the protect the DDoS attacks. So we can see what are the comparison. That is protection. From the protection, the WAF provide the protection against the common web attacks such as SQL injection and cross-site scripting, or HTTP floods, DNS query floods, or remote file execution, like that. So the AWS Shield, it's a state exhaustion and volumetric attacks meant for it protecting against the DDoS, like distributed denial of the services attacks. The next is OSI layer. So the web application firewall operates on the application layer, or the layer 7. That is AWS Shield is a operates on the network layer and transport layer, like layer 3 and layer 4. It also uses the layer 7 for the advanced shield. So like WF only operates on the application layer. So but the shield operates on network and transport layer both also. In the advanced shield, it also operates the application layer. The next is casting. AWS WF, this is web application firewall, is a subscription based, like pay as you go. So when we are using the higher traffic, we can pay extra for that using the resources, like. So that is in coming to the shield, it's a standard version is bundled. In the advanced version is a subscription based. So the WF is only one way, that is subscription based, but when we come to the shield, it can provide two way. One is bundled, or in the advanced level we are provided it's a subscription based. The next is working. The web application protection by filtering, monitoring, and blocking the malicious HTTPS traffic on the layer 7, which is traveling to the web application. Like it protect by filtering and monitoring the malicious threats or any attacks. So it can traveling to web application, and also it perform the traffic rate limiting, which can prevent the DDoS types of attack from reaching the application. So when it comes to the shield, it automatic DDoS protection against the more common layer 3, that is network layer, and also it against the layer 4, that is transport layer attack. So in the shield it working like automatic DDoS protection against layer 3 and 4. So in the web application it's blocking those HTTPs and filtering monitoring in the layer 7, so which traveling to the web application. This is the comparison between the AWS Shield and AWS web application firewall. So what are the layers, voice layer using and the costing purpose and how it works. So this is all about the AWS Shield and AWS web application firewall theory part. So let's move to the demo.
Go for AWS WAF and Shield. Yeah, so here we can see WAF is a web application firewall. It protects your web application from the common web exploits. Then go to Shield. So here we can see it manages the DDoS protection services. In theory part, we will see how it what the things are going in the AWS Shield and AWS web application firewall. So Shield helps to manage the DDoS protection services. In the web application firewalls helps them to protect our web application from the threats and some exploits. So here we can see in the Shield. So the pricing should be per month in it's a $3,000 per month. So additional data transfer fees also it's apply. So in the Shield there is our two tier, that is one is standard and advanced. So AWS Shield provide the continuous attack detection and automatic mitigation. The AWS Shield offers a two tier of protection, one is standard and advanced. So monthly cost of $3,000 per month and additional data transfer fees also apply for the AWS Shield. So let's go to the AWS web application. So its a pricing should be the $5 per web ACL. So and $1 per rule per month. It's a prorated hourly and $0.60 per million request processed. So it's based on the request and web ACL creating and the prorated. So based on that it will be costing. So here I will show you how to configure the web ACL. So here I'm not creating anything because it will cost and basis of the using. So just I will show you how to configure the web application firewall. So click on the create web ACL. So here we can see here there is a 5-step. In the first step we need to describe the web ACL and associate it to AWS resources. So in the web ACL, the first is a resource type. Choose the type of resources to associate it with the web ACL. So changing this settle will reset the page. So there is two options. One is a global resources. So it's a cloud front distribution, and the another one is regional resources. It's application. The regional resources are some AWS services, that is load balancer, API gateways, like that. So here I'm going with the regional resources only, and here we need to select the region. So I'm working in the Asia Pacific, that is Mumbai. Right here give the name, like I will give a WAF demo, and description it's optional. If you want you can give, otherwise is no need. Then the next step is it's associated the AWS resources. It's integrated with the AWS resources. Here we can see there is a different types of resources. So which resources you want, you can select this one and go with that. So you can select API gateway or otherwise load balancer, anyone, which one you want the resources, you can go with that. So then cancel. So here we go, regional resources. These are the resource types. We need to add the integrated with the AWS resources. Then click on next. So here we can see the second step is add the rules and rule groups. So it defines the attack patterns to look the web request and action to when the request. Here we need to add the rules. Just click on the add rules. Here there is two ways to add the rules. One is manage the rule group and my own rule and rule group. So click on manage rule group. here we can see there is a different rule groups are required. So here just go with that AWS managed rule group. So here we can see it's a paid rule groups. It's subscription and usage fees for paid managed the rule group. This is addition and standard services charges. So here we can see there is a different managed rule groups, that is account creation and fraud prevention, account takeover prevention, bot control, like this. And also here we can see the additional fees is this is dollar per month, like so. In the when we are explaining, I've told that, right? So it additional fees is also we need to pay for the additional services. So like that there is a different rule groups, and that is a different fees for everyone, each one. So here there is a number of rule groups. So here we can see there are different number of rule groups. We can add which one we want. The next is here we can see web ACL capacity, this access control distraction. So here we need to allow the action or block, or we can give the custom request. So the next step is set the rule priority. Here we need to set up the rule priority to the domain we have created. And the next is configure the matrices. So here we need to configure the matrices and enable the here request sampling option can be enabled or disabled. So we can enable the sample request with the exclusion also. So the next is, so here, so once we creating all the steps, here we need to review and create the web ACL. So here once again we need to check those what are we creating, it's correct or not. So here we need to create those web application lists, and we need to create the firewall. So this is how we need to create the web application firewall and shield. So, and also I will show you one thing. So here we can see IP sets, go with that. So here we need to create the IP sets also. So just click on create IP set. So here we give the IP set name, description, and the reason. So which IP version we need to create, that is IPv4 or 6, and also here we need to give the IP addresses. We are creating the IP set also in the WAF and Shield. So this is how the WAF and Shield can be created to control to protect our web applications and prevent from the DDoS attack. So this is all about the AWS web application firewall and the AWS Shield. So thank you everyone.